Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjanaya Yashoda Nandana Vrajajana Ranjanaya Yamuna Tira Banachariya Yamuna Tira Banachariya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Vrajana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vrajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachariya Yamuna Tira Banachariya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Lord Premanandi Hare Krishna. So you were reading chapter 4, isn't it? Did you read any of the verses from chapter 4? 12? Okay, very good. So we're going to read chapter 4, Transcendental Knowledge, text 12. That's page 199. Page 199. Found it? Very good. Very good. So I'm going to read the Sanskrit now. Kankshanta karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devataha Shipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja Kankshanta karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devata Chipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja Kankshanta karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devata Shipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja
Kankshanta karmanam siddhim yajanta iha devata Shipram hi manushe loke siddhir bhavati karmaja
Anyone else? Shanta karmanam siddhim Very good. Now we are going to repeat word by word. Kankshanta, desiring. Karmanam, of fruitive activities. Siddhim, perfection. Yajante, they worship by sacrifices. Iha, and the material world. Devata, the demigods. Chipram, very quickly. He, certainly. Manushe, in human society. Loke, within this world. Siddhi, success. Bhavati, comes. Karmaja, from fruitive work. Men in this world desire success in fruitive activities, and therefore they worship the demigods. Quickly, of course, men get results from fruitive work in this world. Purport. There is a great misconception about the gods or demigods of this material world. And men of less intelligence, although passing as great scholars, take these demigods to be various forms of the Supreme Lord. Actually, the demigods are not different forms of God, but they are God's different parts and parcels. God is one, and the parts and parcels are many. The Vedas say, Nitya Nityanam, God is one. Ishvara Parama Krishna, the Supreme God is one, Krishna. And the demigods are delegated with powers to manage this material world. These demigods are all living entities, Nityanam, with different grades of material power. They cannot be equal to the Supreme Lord, Narayana, Vishnu or Krishna. Anyone who thinks that God and the demigod are on the same level is called an atheist or Pashandi. Even the great demigods like Brahma and Shiva cannot be compared to the Supreme Lord. In fact, the Lord is worshipped by demigods such as Brahma and Shiva. Shiva Berinchi Nutam. Yet, curiously enough, There are many human leaders who are worshipped by foolish men under the misunderstanding of anthropomorphism or somomorphism. Iha Devata denotes a powerful man or demigod of this material world. But Narayana, Vishnu or Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, does not belong to this world. He is above or transcendental to material creation. Even Shripad Sankaracharya, the leader of the impersonalists, maintains that Narayana or Krishna is beyond this material creation. However, foolish people, Rita Jnana, worship the demigod because they want immediate results. They get the result but do not know that results so obtained are temporary and are meant for less intelligent persons. The intelligent person is in Krishna consciousness and he has no need to worship the paltry demigods for some immediate temporary benefit. The demigods of this material world, as well as their worshippers, will vanish with the annihilation of this material world. The boons of the demigods are material and temporary. Both the material worlds and their inhabitants, including the demigods and their worshippers, are bubbles in the cosmic ocean. In this world, however, human society is mad after temporary things, such as the material opulence of possessing land, family, and enjoyable paraphernalia. To achieve such temporary things, people worship the demigods or powerful men in human society. If a man gets some ministership in the government by worshipping a political leader, he considers that he has achieved a great boon. All of them are therefore kowtowing to the so-called leaders or big guns in order to achieve temporary boons, and they indeed achieve such things. Such foolish men are not interested in Krishna consciousness for the permanent solution to the hardships of material existence. They are all after sense enjoyment, and to get a little facility for sense enjoyment, they are attracted to worship empowered living entities known as demigods. This verse indicates that people are rarely interested in Krishna consciousnness. They are mostly interested in material enjoyment and therefore they worship some powerful living entity. Om Agyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshuru Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langete Garimyat Kripatamaham Bande Shri Gurum Nigatadanam. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So many people get confused when they come in touch with Hinduism. They think there are many gods, 33 million gods. So they don't understand. They think that devatas are different forms of God. But that's a misconception, great misconception. They are part and parcels of God, but they are not forms of God. Forms of God are called Vishnu Tattva. Vishnu Tattva means the category of God. Vishnu, Narayana, Krishna, Rama, Nrsimha. These are avatars of God. God Himself. But the demigods like Brahma, Shiva, Ganesh, Durga, Surya, Indra, etc., they are not on the same level as Vishnu. They are servants of the Lord. They have power given by God Himself, by the Supreme Lord Himself, to help him manage the universe. They are administrators. It's like the president has many ministers in different departments. But they have to tell him everything they do. He can inquire from them how you're doing, what you're doing, what are the results, like that. So, and there are proofs of that, for example, Brahma is the second creator in this material world. The original creator is Vishnu. He from his body emanates millions of universes. And then he enters in each and every universe again as Garbhodakshaya Vishnu. And from his navel grows a lotus flower, and from there the first being is created in this universe called Brahma. Brahma is given the ingredients of the material creation and given the intelligence how to do the creation. It's like you pay an architect to make you a house, but you give all the money, you give all the energy. Everything is coming from you. He just designed the thing according to your desire. He asks you how you want me to do this. And you tell. So the same way, Lord Vishnu, he gives power to Brahma to create, and giving the ingredients also. So he's the architect of this universe. So Brahma, when Krishna is the original Supreme Personality of Godhead. That explained in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Very clearly it is said, Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. Ete chamsa kalah pumsam Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam. That all the avatar mentioned, but there is Krishna who is the original Supreme. It's like a candle lightening up other candles. They have the same power light, but there is one original candle. And that original candle is Krishna. And Krishna came to this world 5,000 years ago. So Brahma came to test Krishna because he saw Krishna playing the part like a child, playing with his friends, eating some yogurt with fruit in his hand, and sometimes his friend defeat him and he has to carry them on his back. So he became a little bewildered. Is this the Supreme Vishnu that created me? I want to test. So he kidnapped all the Krishna's friends and put them to sleep. His idea was to take them, not only the boys, the friends, but also the calves. His idea was to take them to his planet, much higher planet. But Krishna is omniscient, he knows everything beforehand. So he took the shape of Brahma and arrived at his planet before he arrived. And he told the doorkeepers, there is a false Brahma, he may come later. Don't allow him in my planet. I am the original one. So when Brahma came, he could not enter his own planet. He has to return to this planet. He has an airplane, of course, in the shape of a swan, And that round trip, 1 year went on. And so when he came back, he put all the sleeping calves and children in a cave in Govardhan Hill and went to see what Krishna did in this year. He was shocked that the same children and calves were there, thousands of them. And he was surprised. Who created these children? I'm the only creator in this world. But Krishna expanded himself into each and every child, friend, so nobody of the mothers suspected anything. He did it perfectly. Every child, has his own personality, way of speaking, way of eating. But even the mother didn't suspect anything. But they were amazed about something, because they thought, we love our children very much, but we love Krishna even more than our own children. But what's surprising, that now we are loving our children the same as we love Krishna. Because they were expansion of Krishna. They were Krishna himself. And also the cows that got the opportunity to relate to Krishna as mothers, because Krishna also expanded himself the small calves. So they were feeding their cows with their milk. So they were serving Krishna as mothers. Like that. So when Brahma saw all that, he was very surprised that I made a big mistake, I offended Krishna by kidnapping his friends. So he went to ask forgiveness from Krishna. And suddenly all the Krishna's friends became four-armed Vishnu, shining like many suns. So Brahma lost consciousness and he was offering prayers. And suddenly Krishna took away his powerful Yoga Maya energy, became again one only. And Brahma understood that he was defeated by Krishna's power. And Lord Shiva is known as Vaishnavanam Yata Shambhu, the best of all devotees, Vaishnavas, because he's always meditating. You see the pose of Lord Shiva is always on meditation. But on whom he's meditating? He's always meditating on his worshipable Lord, Krishna or Rama or Vishnu. They are in the same category as God himself, personally. So we are guided by the scriptures, Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, the Puranas, and in all this Holy Scripture to say that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, and all demigods, devatas, are subordinate to him. Ekala Ishvara Krishna ara sababritya. That there is only one supreme controller, and that is Krishna. And everyone else are his servant. So that's the conclusion. So, because the demigod have some power, people, innocent, ignorant people, they get confused. They think, there's different forms of God. No. They are not on the same level of God. If somebody think like that, he's an atheist. The Vedas said. So, in this world, here in the West, nobody knows much about demigod, what to speak of worshipping them. But in India, they do worship demigods. Once I went to I was in South India, and they invited me to somebody's home to do some pravachar, preaching. And the man of the house, he has an altar with all the different gods and demigoddesses and everyone. From all religion, he had everyone. And he had the picture of Superman. I told him, really, Superman? He said, just in case, you never know. Couldn't believe it, People are so superstitious, sometimes people, they laugh at these things. But you see, in the West also they worship their artists, musicians, politicians. They have a poster of their favorite musicians, singer or artist or sports person. So they also do, in one way, worship these idols. But they don't get any benefit from that, because they are all imperfect human beings, prone to make mistakes. And what is the benefit you get by idolizing them or worshipping them, nothing. No benefit. At least those who worship demigod, they ask for some material favor, temporary, and they may get it by their worship like that. But that is also a waste of time, because in this world everything is gonna finish one day. So to endeavor for something that's gonna end is not very intelligent. Human beings should strive for something permanent, for something everlasting, and that can give us a real, eternal happiness. So that's the purpose. But, when Shiva came to know that Krishna was on this planet, he wanted to see baby Krishna. So he came to this world disguised as a yogi, as a devotee of Shiva. And he came to the house of Krishna, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda. He knocked on the door, and she came out. Do you want some food, some clothing, money? No. I only came to see your son. And she said, that's not possible. You have these cobras around your neck, and they look very dangerous, very fearful. You can't approach my son. I'm sorry. She closed the door on him. So these cobras that Shiva has around his arms and neck are not ordinary snakes. They are great sages took that form to be with Lord Shiva, And Lord Shiva smears what we call ashes from crematorium on his body. Not any ashes, only from Vaishnavas, devotees of the Lord. But his original color is golden, actually. So anyway, Shiva was sad, he could not see his Lord. So he sat under a tree meditating on the Lord and fasting. When Mother Yashoda wanted to feed Krishna, Krishna would not eat. So she was worried. She asked her neighbor what to do. Krishna doesn't want to eat. Oh, maybe sage came to visit your home and you didn't please him. So you must bring him and please him whatever he wants, so Krishna will eat. So they brought the yogi back, Lord Shiva. All right, please, how can I please you? I just want to see your son. Okay, I will allow you to see. So he entered the house, and after a few steps, she stopped him. Only 10 feet distance, because of the snakes are very fearful, very dangerous to my son. So Shiva was very happy to see his Lord. They look at each other with love, smiling. Krishna was happy to see his devotee. And after a few minutes, Yashoda said, okay, darshan finished, no, you can go now. But Shiva was not fully satisfied, so as he again was sat down fasting. So again Krishna will not eat. So they have to bring him back again and ask him how he can be pleased. He said, if you want your son to eat and be healthy, I want some blessing. I'm going to stay a few months in this area. I want to come every day to your home. And not only I can see your son, but I want you to wash his feet, and that water give to me. I will put on my head and drink it. That will make me very happy. So Shiva was going every day to get the foot water from Lord Krishna. Even if you go to India right now, in Vrindavan, there's Nanda Gram, there's a temple of Krishna where his father lived, the palace, And there is a small temple at the foot of Lord Shiva. And every day they bathe the deity of Krishna, and then that same water they offer to Lord Shiva to celebrate that activity or lila, they had together. Also, actually, there is one pastime when Lord Vishnu saved Lord Shiva from great danger. I mean, sometimes materialistic people worship Shiva to get some material benefit. Even asuras like Ravana worshipped Lord Shiva. But because Ravana kidnapped Sita Devi, Shiva will not help him, will not protect him. When Lord Ramchandra wanted to kill Ravana, he was not protected by Shiva because he made a big offense. So once a demon was worshipping Lord Shiva to ask for a boon. And he was so evil, he was cutting flesh from his own body and throw it into the fire. He wanted Shiva to appear, but Shiva will not appear. But the man, the demon, then finally he decided to chop off his own head, throw it in the fire to force Shiva to appear. So when he was gonna do that, Shiva appeared, stop, don't keep harming yourself, that's not good, What do you want from me? Ask me anything. You will give me anything? Yeah, stop torturing yourself. Okay, I want the boon that whoever I touch the head of any person, its head will blow up in 1,000 pieces. Shiva regretted offering the blessing because this demon wanted to harm people, So, but he gave his word. He promised that he will fulfill any desire of this asura or demon. So Shiva said, okay. Unwillingly said, let it be. And what the demon thought? Oh, Lord Shiva has a very beautiful wife, Gauri. Let me touch his head and keep the wife for myself. Such the mentality, of the demon. So he went after Shiva, and Shiva was running for his life, And then they were chasing all over the universe. And Shiva arrived at Svetadweep, the pole star. He arrived there, and Vishnu lives there, in that planet. That's Paramatma, Shiradakashai Vishnu. So Shiva prayed to the Lord for protection. And the Lord took the form of a monk, brahmachari, said, don't worry, I will protect you. So when the demon came, the Lord Vishnu told him, oh, I know your father. Your father's name is such and such. Oh, yes, how do you know my father? Oh, and immediately, talk nicely, sweetly to him. Sit down while you're running. You must keep your body in good shape, Don't over-exercise yourself, Let's sit down and talk. So what brings you here? Oh, I'm chasing after Shiva. What for? To touch his head because he gave me the blessing, And Vishnu started laughing. Oh, he's laughing at you, he's joking at you. He will not give you such a boon. Don't believe it, Just touch your head, see nothing will happen. And the demon became bewildered by the maya of the Lord. And he touched his own head. And that way Lord Shiva was saved by the mercy of Vishnu. So there are many stories, not story, but actual fact, historical fact. We call it lila or pastime. That prove that even Brahma and Shiva depend on the mercy of Lord Krishna and Vishnu, So, of course, Prabhupada said in the Western world, they don't worship demigods, but they develop economically by technology and science and all these things. They develop materially, by doing this kind of effort, So in this world, everybody wants to enjoy and be happy, But unfortunately, that is not possible for a long time. Because in this world there is old age, there is the disease and death. So how can you be happy in a place full of suffering? So that's the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, that one should look for eternal life, a spiritual happiness. And that can be obtained by worshipping the Supreme Lord, who is the fountainhead of all bliss, Ananda. Ananda Mayobhya Sat, the Vedanta Sutra said. That is the origin of all happiness, all bliss. And we are a part of Him. The Vedas say, Nityo Nityanam Chetana Chetananam Eko Vahunam Yobidadhati Kaman. There is only one Supreme Eternal. We are many Eternals. But now we are engaged in temporary bodies made of matter. We are not these bodies. We are different from the bodies. The soul is eternal. When this body dies, the soul doesn't die. But because of material attachment, we keep coming back, changing bodies, life after life, trying to be happy in a world full of suffering. So when we develop our spiritual intelligence, God-given intelligence, by reading Bhagavad Gita and hearing from the devotees, we can understand the subject matter much, much better. What is the purpose of human life? Purpose of human life is to go back to God and be happy eternally, not keeping rotating in this world and the cycle of birth and death. So we have to make our endeavor to make spiritual advancement. And in this fallen age, full of hypocrisy, quarrel and violence and cheating and so many bad things, there is only one good thing, that by chanting the holy names of the Lord, the Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One can get all spiritual perfection just by doing this chanting. We can chant loudly with instrument or softly with our beads. The benefit is there. Eternal spiritual benefit. So, of course, we shall never disrespect the demigods. They are also great devotees of the Lord, undoubtedly, and they are servant of the Lord. Some of them, they are very pure, not all of them. They are devotees, but they have also desire for power and control, like that. So, any questions? Please do.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I'm grateful to see you again. Does Krishna talks about also why he created the material world?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. If you could please let us know.
Sure. The absolute truth has to have everything to be complete. The imperfect
I think the battery is dead.
Use this mic.
It's okay. Thank you. Thank you. So I was explaining that the absolute truth involves everything. It has to have everything. The perfect eternal spiritual world and the imperfect temporary material world. It's the same thing as when the government built the city, they also include prison houses. Not because they want people to go to prison, but because they know a little percentage, a minority of the population who will misbehave and they have to become criminals, they have to go to jail for reformation, isn't it? So in the same way, God knows that some section of His creation, the living entities, some of them will misbehave and they need to be corrected. No? So the material world is the correctional place for the rebellious souls, ourselves. Understand? So it has a purpose. Reformation, learning, either by suffering or hearing. If somebody is intelligent and he hears that to steal is not good, so he doesn't steal. Another person may hear it is not good to steal, you suffer. No, I have to see to believe. So he see that thieves are caught and they suffer in jail. Okay, I learned my lesson. I will not. Another person, he may hear that stealing is bad. He may see the thieves are suffering in prison. He said, no, I am more clever. They will not get me. I'm going to steal anyway. So, after some time, he is also caught. He had to go to prison, suffer there. Okay, I learned my lesson. When I go out of prison, I'm not steal again. But there are other kind of people who hear this bad, they see it is bad, they do it, they suffer, they come out of jail, they steal again. And they go again suffering in jail. So those are the less intelligent people. The best way is to hear, to learn by hearing. So we are hearing Bhagavad Gita, and the teaching is, this material world is dukkhalaya mashashvatam, which means that's Krishna confirming this, that it is temporary and full of suffering. So we came here on our free choice, free will. Because, why somebody goes to hell? Nobody is forcing him to be criminal and go to jail. That's his free will, isn't it? No? So in the same way, we misused our free will. That's why we ended up here. But we are being corrected. That's the whole idea. Krishna doesn't forget his part and parcels. We are part of him. So he has a plan for us. And the plan is that we prepare ourselves, purify our existence, become Krishna conscious, and at the end of life, return to our original life, original spiritual eternal life of bliss and knowledge in the company of the Lord. That's the plan. That is Krishna's plan. Now depends on us if we want to cooperate with the plan of the Lord. Understand? It's up to us. Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, and at the end he told him, if you follow my instruction by my grace, you will overcome all difficulties in this world. But if you don't listen to me and you are misguided by your own ego, you will be lost. So it's up to us. Finally. Everything is there. We need to grow spiritually and become fixed in the knowledge and try to get spiritual assets, Every day we should read, chant, hear, like that. Avoid bad things like eating meat and taking intoxicants and gambling and sexual illicit relationship, Only in marriage is allowed. And that way, if we follow a pious life, we can make spiritual progress by reading, chanting, coming together, discussing this wonderful philosophy. So it has a purpose, the material world, to give us another second chance. Second, third, fourth, five. Krishna is very merciful and kind, He's giving us already so many chances by creating the material world once and again and again and again. The material world is created, maintained, destroyed, again created. It goes on and on. Why? Just to give the rebellious soul the opportunity to rectify themselves, to come to their senses, and acknowledge that I am not the enjoyer of this world. I am a servant of the Lord. That's my eternal happy position. It's a happy position. It's not, the word servant doesn't, it's not something everybody likes to hear. I'm a servant. We want to be the master, not the servant. But to be servant of God, that's something very glorious. That's an eternal, blissful, It's like a man serving a king. Oh, he get all facility. He has a nice house, nice dress, nice food. He doesn't lack anything because he's serving somebody very important. Isn't it? So in the same way, if we try to serve God, we will get all the spiritual and material benefit too. That's included. Like Lord Jesus taught, look for the kingdom of heaven, and everything else is included. They come by itself. What is the use of a man gain all the world but lose his soul? So that's the same philosophy. Jesus Christ is the Son of God and Krishna is God. And between Son and Father there is no difference of opinion. Understand? Or any prophet or Messiah, or the same message is of detachment from this world and the desire to return to God is there. But here is a practical method called Bhakti Yoga. How to achieve that. What to give up. And what to accept. It's very clear how to do it. Hare Krishna. Any other comment? Questions? Back to Joseph.
Thank you for being here this week and giving all these classes. It's really nice when you visit.
Thank you.
You talked about we don't worship demigods here in America too much, but God's got a lot of names. I knew him as Jehovah at one time, and Yashoda, and then Tunkashila, which is Native American. Are these forms of demigods, or are they? I don't want to, get tangled up, worshiping something that's, a demigod.
Better chant Hare Krishna. That's better.
Yeah, I knew.
Don't worry about. God may have different names, Jehovah, Adonai, Allah, but they are different names of God. They are not demigods. In South America, they may worship the sun god and other gods, the god of the rain, and the Greek mythology also they have this different demigods, Zeus, and all this. They are not mythology; they are actual. They just have different names. That's all. Yes. Pass in the mic.
If I may say something, I do know that it is actually an old Judaic belief from the Jewish faith, the originating Jewish faith, that God has so many names because they were looking to describe him with a word, with a name. But the Jewish faith believes that God is so much greater than us that we will never understand him, but still they engage in this act of finding his name, but it is done in a humble nature because they know they will never know his name. But this is in a way a bit of their service. So these names that are made by different groups and different people, it is kind of done in a service, but it is an old Judaic belief system that God has been.
God also received name according to his qualities. So.
Yes. Yeah.
For example, God is great, no? Allah is, like for example, All Almighty, no? And Krishna means, the word Krishna means the all attractive. He's all attractive because he has all beauty, all power, all fame, all strength, and all renunciation together. So that makes him the most attractive person, In this world, if somebody is very beautiful or wealthy or intelligent, wise or rich, powerful, he's very attractive to other people, isn't it? So, but God, he has all this unlimitedly. So that's why the name Krishna is very proper. It means all attractive. So God received names according to his qualities and activities. Yeah, I mean, the Jew, they have the merit that they started monotheism in this part of the world, in the Middle East and the world. And that's a great achievement, of course, because they were worshiping different gods and different things. But they came to the conclusion there is one Supreme God. Not much information they were given about that one Supreme God, But in India, they have more information about the God, the Supreme God. There is, in the holy books of India, the Vedas, are much more information there about not only God's form or different names, but also his qualities and activities, his personality. God is a person, is not an energy floating in midair or something. He's a person, supreme person. He has a spiritual body. His body is not made of flesh and blood that get old and die. His body is a spiritual energy, but a form with eyes, and we are made in the image of God, the Bible said. But God's form is eternal, blissful, and full of knowledge. This body is full of misery and suffering and temporary and ignorant. So there's a difference between us and God. But if we want to know more about God, we have to open up our mind and try to understand other spiritual cultures that have more information about God. Why not? I mean, God can reveal himself. We don't have the power to know him by our own, but if he reveals himself, then we can know more about him. So in the past, God, he revealed himself to great sages, and they describe him in the Vedas. He came to this world personally 5,000 years ago. Many artists made paintings and statues of him because they saw him personally. And also the Vedas describe his form. It's not whimsical. It's not by some artist made up like that. No, it's real. This information we received through the masters and disciples coming down in a chain, unbroken chain. The knowledge is coming down from up to down. And we are following this tradition. We are getting this knowledge. This information so important, so confidential. My Guru Prabhupada said, all religions of the world are looking for God. And we are presenting him. Here is God, Krishna. Accept him. If you have a better candidate, we are open-minded. God is one. It's not Hindu or Christian or Buddhist or Jew. It's like the sun. The sun rises from the east, but there is no Eastern sun, Indian sun, or Chinese sun, or Mexican sun, or American. Sun is for everyone. The same thing, God is for everyone. And even if we call him by different name, it's the same God. So we have to give up prejudice and small-mindedness and open up to understand, to know more, to learn more. You know, that's very important. Hare Krishna. Very good. So thank you everyone for coming and listening and taking part in this program. Hare Krishna.